I like to use one quote that the limitations exist only in our minds, and if you start using imaginations, then your possibilities become limitless. So that's kind of a mindset that I have. I use my imagination. I do see myself achieving more. I'm hoping, I'm working hard on it, not only myself, but the entire team around me.
All the big famous people that you hear about, you know, Richard Branson and Steve Jobs and Zuckerberg and everyone, they're no different than you are, right? 70-something% of the world's billionaires are self-made. So you can achieve this. Now, it's not going to be easy. You don't just wake up on Tuesday and become rich on Wednesday. But it doesn't take any more effort than going to a job that you hate. And unless you believe in reincarnation, you got one shot on this planet. One shot. So don't you want to make a difference? Don't you want to leave something behind and make the planet better than you found it? Why are you here? What do you want to accomplish with your life? And it doesn't have to be being rented, and it doesn't have to be money-oriented. The same principles that disrupt you, you can change the educational system, you can change healthcare. I mean, I am humbled by what I'm seeing people create around the world with so little. But we are on this ball together. We can solve problems together. We can make a better future together. You know, it's an optimistic story that you get to write your piece of the story. I mean, why wouldn't people want to push their potential? So aim for the stars. If you didn't make it all the way, you made it to the moon, you know, not bad.
My rookie year, you get so damn excited because you're playing against these guys that you've been dreaming of and playing against your entire life, right?
You actually crossed over Jordan, right?
Well, yeah, I did, even though he dropped multiple buckets on me. And then told me how he was going to do it, which was impressive because he was 40 years old. It still pisses me off to this day. I don't know if you can tell. But I remember we were playing against the Lakers, Tom, and we were out here in LA. And, you know, look, I always try to outwork people, right? That's just how I made my mark. So the game was at 7. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come to the Staples Center because we're playing. This is when the Lakers had Kobe and Shaq. Right. Okay, this is like the championship Lakers. I was like, you know, I'm going to get there at 3 o'clock. And I want to make sure I make 400 made shots before I go back into the room, and then I sit in the sauna and I get ready for the game. So, you know, get in the car, get to the gym, get there, and as I'm walking onto the court, who do I see? I see Kobe Bryant already working out. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool. It's Kobe. What's up, Kobe? You know? And, you know, so I put my sneakers on. And do you ever get lost in what you do where you end up like, wait, it's been an hour and a half? Like I'm here, I'm in it. So once I set my foot across that line, I started working out. And so I worked out for a good hour and a half. And when I came off, after I was done, I sat down. And of course, I still hear the ball bouncing. I look down, I'm like, this guy's still working out? He was working out for like, it looks like he was in a dead sweat when I got here. Right. And he's still going. And it's not like his moves are nonchalant or lazy. He's doing like game moves, right. You know? I sit there and I unlace my shoes. I'm like, I want to see how long this goes. So I sit out there and watch 25 minutes. And he got done. I said, okay, I think I've seen enough. Go play, you know, come back, get in the sauna, get ready for the game. That game, he drops 40 on us, okay? And after the game is over, I'm like, I have to ask this guy. Like, I have to understand, like, why he works like that. Right. So after the game is over, I'm like, hey, Kobe, like, why were you in the gym for so long? He's like, because I saw you come in. I wanted you to know that it doesn't matter how hard you work, that I'm willing to work harder than you. Wow. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not saying I dislike you as a person. You inspire me to be better. Right. And it was the first time I started to see this level of competitiveness where I said, I need to start doing more.
In Japanese culture, they have an craft art called kintsugi, where when ceramics are broken, they don't throw them out and buy another, or create another one from scratch. They put the ceramic pieces back together. But the way that they adhese them is with gold, a kind of gold, adhesive gold, sparkly,
it's almost like a mortar
material. Yeah, it's beautiful. And so you get these these pieces that are broken, but at the cracks are more beautiful. And I thought, that is such, a perfect metaphor. And it's not my metaphor because it goes into the Buddhist concept of wabi-sabi. But the idea that, we are going to go through trauma, but trauma is an opportunity to change and to reorganize the elements that made up your life. I gave a speech in Singapore a couple weeks ago. And, what I spoke about was that when a person's mind is traumatized, it's like the story that they were telling themselves has ceased to be persuasive, right? And when a story stops being persuasive, it is disorienting, and that, I think, is what trauma is. The period between when your old story breaks apart because of this last straw on the camel's back thing. I mean, we're going to continue to tell ourselves the old stories until it's so glaringly contradictory that it doesn't hold up. So trauma is the period between when that breaks down and when you, from the pieces of the old, build something new. And we'll never glorify the trauma itself, but recognize that in that period, you have a very unique opportunity that will only come along a handful of times in your life to reorganize the story that you tell about yourself to yourself. So that for me is what Kintsugi is all about. And I think a lot of people just really connected with that idea.
Life breaks everyone, and some are stronger in the places that broke.
For a lot of people that are listening right now, I think one of the, it's funny the way you just positioned that. The truth is, I was a DNF student, right? So Martin Luther King School in Edison, New Jersey, North Hunterdon High School in Hunterdon County, those teachers, they didn't see this coming. And so what I realized was, this is what I was good at, right? I was good at looking at things a little bit different than everybody else. I was good at telling stories. I was good at selling. I was good at really working much harder than anybody else in the things that I was most interested in. And so what I was able to do in a time in the 80s and 90s when it wasn't as cool, right now being an entrepreneur is cool, right? It's cool. Everybody wants to be a CEO and an entrepreneur. When I was getting D's and F's, I was making $3,000 a weekend as a 14-year-old. But my teachers and my friends' parents didn't think I was a winner because the scoring back then was about school. And so the one thing I would take away from this, as everybody's listening and driving right now, is look, you can decide to choose what the market says is cool now, or you could try to figure yourself out and disproportionately triple down on what you're good at. I don't want to say that I'm ambitious. I want to show you that I'm ambitious. Go watch my Snapchat, Gary VEE. Go watch my Snapchat and see that I'm up at 5:37 in the morning and see that I'm in meetings at 11:58 p.m. There's no question to Garrett if I'm ambitious. I'm showing you. People like to say they're ambitious, but look what they do. They look at the negative. Hey, I don't have connections like some other guy or girl I heard of that got $50,000 from people to start their startup. Woe is me. Woe is me? There's never been a generation. Our parents, our grandparents, they never heard of startup capital. They worked 2 jobs, saved money for 7 years, then took the money they saved and risked it and built a business.
GoFundMe was not around.
There was no I'm going to start a Kickstarter and everything's going to be okay. It's
so
crazy.
What do you don't like GoFundMe?
No, I love it. I just also know the data shows that 99% of the people don't get their money. Again, it's like, I think a screwdriver works, but if you don't know how to use it, got it? GoFundMe is a great tool, but do you have such a great idea that America is going to be excited to write you a check so that you can do it? You get to choose your work-life balance, but that's on you. Like, that's not me to choose or anybody else. What I'm passionate about, Stephen, to be very frank with you, is what did you do from Friday 5 p.m. until Monday 7 a.m.? I'm just curious, and I don't think you shouldn't have a weekend, but I think everybody's ambition actually is more predicated on their actions than their words. My friends tell me all the time they're so ambitious, and I'm like, if that's true, then you punt leisure, and you punt concerts at Jones Beach, and you work. When you do the right things happen. Everybody wants to do something and expect something in return. I'm not interested in coming here and promoting stuff. I don't need to do that. I needed to come here and try to give advice that 100 people, 1,000 people that are listening right now got value out of. And then that's gonna work itself out for me one day. Doing the right thing is always the right thing. And you can do that in business and you can do that in life.